Good morning. I think we can start. Karibuni sana. We should do that. We can start with our prayer. Can ask,
Okay. Let us begin the prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, once again, we would like to thank you for also making us look up at the another day today as we start the deliberations of the Waza Center's theme of the day. Father, we pray that you're going to be with us. You're going to guide each one of us, and the discussions that will be coming out of here will be for the benefit and development of this nation and the African continent at large. And we pray that, Father, wherever value chain and interconnected sectors will continue to generate the required jobs and employment opportunities for our people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. What we do now is do just a brief round of introductions. Then now we can go to the actual. Then I'll give you just an overview of where we are here. Give some opening remarks. Then we go to the actual discussion. So maybe we can start from behind there.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Purity Gashudu. I'm the Secretary Oversight and Labor and Welfare and Staff Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Yoruba Mati, the Industrial Estates, in charge of the Yes, morning. I'm Mark Kanye from the Director of Human Services and the Director of
Good morning. I'm William Klaus from Kenya.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Naya Mai from the State Department of Industry. Good morning. My name is William Rich from CBS. Good morning. I think we should put it there.
Good morning once again. My name is Daniel Victim. We should talk that Karibuni sana.
Good morning. I'm the manager of facilities at Kenya Land
Good morning, everyone. I'm Fuller Samuel from MSME from Kibram, dealing with leather goods products for Fuller bags.
My name is Kirara. I'm a limited economist. I'm also founder of the Soul.
My name is Juliet Mutari and I'm the founder of Wazawazi.
Thank you very much for that round of introduction. And we appreciate you welcoming the vision. And this is a good opportunity to share, to know what is available in the health sector. That is why we have a mix of government and we have a mix of the private sector. So that we are able to see what opportunities, share what achievements are there in the sector, try and explore those opportunities and how they can be done. And also, as we conclude, we see a way of developing strategic partnerships between the various stakeholders. Because if you look at it before, they are it's very ambitious in terms of because we want to increase the income from 10 billion, about 10 to 60 billion, about 100 billion, which is quite ambitious. And then increase employment from 70,000, about 100,000 within the 5 years. So we felt as vision, it's important that we start looking at those sectors more so because weather is a key sector that has been identified by the vision with that. And as well as better, the bottom of the economic transformation agenda has also picked weather as one of the sectors that is supposed to ensure that there is economic recovery and transformation. So we felt it is important we bring stakeholders try and start some and engage on how we can accelerate achievement of the sector. So that is where we will have open discussions and where we allow the government to say what the sector and the opportunities that are there. We'll also allow the private sector to say what they are doing and what do they expect from government to be able to enhance their productivity and also enhance their. So ideally, that is why we are here. That's the objective why we are here. So that we can have greater forum for even future engagements. So without further, I would want to invite the director. My name is Wawel. I'm the Deputy Director of Economic Development. I want to invite the Director of Economic Development to do the opening remarks on behalf of our Director.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Sure, it's a very good morning today. Specifically for us as the Vision 2030. In that, we needed to organize a third Waza event successfully. We are also happy to have brought on board the most important segment of the Vision 2030 stakeholders, which is the private sector. The past two Waza events, we didn't manage to fully integrate the private sector. But going forward, design to create a big space for the private sector players to come and showcase what they have managed to do to get to the delivery of the milestones, the dreams of the Vision 2030. This morning, we are trying to have our Director General raise this issue. However, there was another urgent assignment that came from the higher authorities. He was therefore asked to attend that event and join us in the middle of the discussion. He has tasked me to do his opening remarks on his behalf. Therefore, to do justice to what we have said, I just need to cover his speech. After that, I'll be part of the participants who would also be expecting active participation from there. So allow me to do the speech of the Director General, Mr. Kenyon. Our distinguished representative, ministers and departments is present, distinguished representatives of the private sector institutions, representatives of medium, small, micro enterprises, representing Kenyan manufacturers. Our online viewers, which are following us virtually. Our staff, Vision 2030 Secretary, Hamjabodi. I wish to welcome you all to the Vision 2030 Global Secretariat WASA Idea Center for this important engagement on the leather and leather product value chain discussions. The Kenya Vision 2030 Global Secretariat is charged with the mandate of spearheading the implementation of the Kenya Vision 2030, which is the country's development blueprint and strategy towards making Kenya a new industrializing upper middle income country by providing strategic leadership and direction on the realization of the Vision 2030 goals. To effectively achieve the above mandate, the Secretariat has embarked on stakeholders and media engagements forums using the Rwaza idea model to not only track and communicate Kenya Vision 2030 achievements, but to also generate ideas on accelerating the country's development priorities. Distinguished participants, leather and leather products have been identified in the Vision 2030 MTP4 and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, BETA, as one of the priority value chains and with the most impact to drive economic recovery and transform the country into middle income status by the year 2030. The sector provides opportunities for industrial transformation and economic inclusion due to its strong linkages with economic activities in rural economies, arid and semi-arid lands, and complementary industries that provide input into the leather value addition. The sector's contribution to the economy currently stands at Kenya shillings 10.6 billion, with export ranging between 2 to 3 billion per annum in the last 5 years. However, most of Kenya's export have been in the form of unprocessed, raw hides and skin. Distinguished participants, value in the leather trade remains low, representing about 0.3% of the GDP and 0.7% contribution to the formal employment. This implies that there's a large unutilized potential for the sector to improve livelihoods, create employment, increase tax revenue generation, and foreign exchange for our country, Kenya. There is high participation of macro, small, and medium enterprises within the Kenyan leather value chain. However, there is inadequate MSMEs development and support scheme to develop the future lead leather industries, in addition to information asymmetry in the value chain. Participants, therefore, the need to convene this engagement of stakeholders and the selected key players within the leather industry for open discussion between the government side, the private sector perspectives, including the MSMEs, and the public who are following us, some virtually, others physically, to not only communicate the achievements and opportunities in the leather sector, but to also share ideas of accelerating the growth on the value chain is paramount. For us as a Vision Delivery Secretariat, we look forward to a fruitful engagement and strengthening of strategic partnership with the value chain actors for economic transformation of our country. In this regard, I take this opportunity to welcome you all to this morning session, Rwaza engagement, and hope that each and every one of you will get an opportunity to share their thoughts and speak about their successes, share the challenges, and bring forth suggestions and recommendations for consideration by the Vision Delivery Secretariat. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Maybe you can appreciate him better. Asante sana. Asante sana. Now the next forum, maybe I would allow the three who have come in to introduce themselves so that now I can guide on the next forum on how we'll move forward from here. Kindly. Karibu sana. Morning. Karibu sana.
Okay.
So what we'll do next, so that now we can kick off the discussions, is that maybe I would give a small overview to Mr. Nyangala and his team. Okay. Is that with us here we have government stakeholders who, in one way or another, support the livestock, the leather and leather products value chain. And then we have the private sector, led by Kenya Association of Manufacturers and MSMEs who work in the leather value chain. And what we have here is an open discussion on how we can try and accelerate the productivity and competitiveness in the leather value chain. So we have a number of stakeholders. So what we will do next forum is that we'll first start with the government stakeholders. And they'll come and sit here so that these seats don't look so empty. I stop being lonely here. Give an overview of the mandate and what they do in the leather sector. They can tell us some of the key achievements that they could see the departments has been involved in. And maybe, if possible, elaborate. Are there opportunities you feel that the private sector and MSMEs can tap into to be able to enhance their productivity? I think that would be okay. And then where you feel there are gaps, you can also raise them. Then after that discussion, we'll also now come to the MSMEs. They can also say the products, what they produce, a few success stories, their experiences as they work in the sector, and maybe what they would want from government, the kind of support they would want from government to be able to thrive and to be able to grow their sectors. Then after we do that, we'll have a plenary. Well, we'll have an open discussion. We'll have questions asked, both within the room and also in the social media platforms. And we'll be able to respond from there. Then after that, we'll have a way forward on how we will move from there after this session. I think that's a good arrangement. So I would request, can start with KLDC. Maybe Bwana Charles can come maybe and sit next to me here. Or both of you can still come, it's still okay. Madam Nora from State Department of Livestock can also come forward. Dr. Doreen, kindly. Mr. Nyangala also. Adam, karibu. Then Koske. Is it Anne or Koske who will be here? One of you. You just introduce the ministry, and then that be okay. Good. Thank you. Thank you. I think now we are ready to start. We can start from Kipra, from that side. Kipra can say what they do and what they are doing in the leather sector, and what opportunities you think they are there in the leather sector, and how the MSMEs can link to you, can link with you for them to be able to get maybe additional. I know you're good in research, policy issues, and you can be able to elaborate that. Can just give you about 3 minutes or so. Thank you. Karibu, Wanadan.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I think the way he has said that first sector is it's a government institution, it's a government policy research institution. So we support the government in terms of developing public policies in various sectors of the economy, including the one that the policy that was developed for the leather, which we worked together with the KZ and the State Department for Livestock. Yeah, perhaps KLDC will elaborate in terms of the status of that, policy. But we also do research to inform policy. So our main goal is to ensure that policy decisions are informed by evidence. Yeah, so for example, there was a research that we did in 2019 on the leather value chain. And currently we are also developing or doing a research on ways to integrate MSCs into the leather value chain, looking at the traditional value chain in terms of what happens at the farm level, production of hide and skin, value addition in terms of manufacturing up to the market level. How can we increase participation of the MSCs at the various levels of the value chain, but also in terms of the product sophistication, going beyond basic products to more value-added products, and but also in addition to that, how can we increase participation of the MSCs in the leather value chain in market participation, not only domestic market but also regional and other international markets. Yeah, so so we are not really directly. Yeah, so our role is generally through policy to ensure that policies that are there also benefit the micro and small enterprise in terms of various sectors of the economy, including the leather value chain. Yeah, so perhaps that's what I can mention briefly for now. Yes.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah. You can go to Dr. Dari, Kenya Industrial Ethics.
Thank you so much, Timothy. Good morning once again. My name is Doreen Kimathi, Kenya Industrial Estates. Kenya Industrial Estates is a government institution under the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSME Development. And we are basically tasked with the role of supporting industrialization in Kenya. And of course, that we do by supporting the MSMEs. We have 3 core mandate areas as an organization. We offer workspace. I am sure for those who have been around this country, especially in the bigger towns within the industrial areas, you have seen Kenya Industrial Estates. How many can attest to having seen a KIA office somewhere in Kenya? Wow, I am very well represented. So we offer workspace, and there within our workspaces, we provide shared facilities. The other core mandate area is in the area of business development services. We offer training, capacitate for business skills, marketing, finance, and all that. We also do market research if you're looking for an organization to support in that area. We also do expos and industry exchanges just to build the capacity of the manufacturers within the country. The other core area is the area of lending, that is financing, offering affordable credit to those that are doing manufacturing in the country. And so our role within the leather sector falls within our 3 core mandate areas. There are those that are doing the manufacturing. We offer the workspace. Those who are looking at being capacitated, we do the business development services. And those who are doing the production and the value addition, we also offer the financing. Our loans we give between 100,000 and 20 million is our maximum. And our interest rates are the best in the market. We are offering 10% on reducing balance. So I would say for Kenya Industrial Estates, we are basically core players within the leather sector, because everybody is looking for a space to work from, is looking for the skills to be able to effectively run their enterprises, and is also looking for that financial support for them to be able to start, to scale, to diversify, and to do the many things that we do. Even the access to markets, basically, you still need the finances. And so our area of support, as I mentioned, has been under production. When you support animal feeds, is that supporting the leather sector? Yes? Yes. When we support the drug manufacturers, those who are making the vet drugs, is that leather sector? When we support people who are converting now the leather, the hides and skins to other final products, I believe all that is within the sector. So we are here, we shall support you in every way that's possible for us as an institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The Kenya Credit Guarantee Scheme was established in 2020. We amended the Public Finance Management Act to allow for us to do guarantee. One of the big engines for MSME growth is the question of access to credit. And across the years, the government of Kenya has in many ways attempted to offer credit to our micro, small, and medium enterprises through various mechanisms. Some of them include what my colleague has just said, KIE, Kenya Industrial Estate. We have had the Youth Enterprise Fund, the Women Fund. They are all good initiatives towards supporting and helping MSMEs to access credit. But when you look at the Credit Guarantee Scheme, it is an innovative mechanism to ensure that more credit is deployed to our micro, small, and medium enterprises. Why are we doing what we are doing? We are doing what we are doing because MSMEs are crucial. Our KNBS data indicates that between 34 to 40% of our GDP is from the MSMEs. And of course, employing close to 15 million people. Those numbers are for 2016. So possibly there are even more people quite involved in MSMEs work. The challenge they have is that access to credit has remained a problem, both in Kenya and other emerging markets. The IFC report suggests that the gap for credit stands at about 30% of the GDP in emerging markets. In a Kenyan context, therefore, that will imply close to 4 trillion. What that means that even if government was to set up many funds, we will not be able to meet the demand for credit for MSMEs. I'm trying to lay a background why guarantee. Guarantee comes in because the lending institution and the banks, the reason why they do not lend to MSMEs include many reasons. Number one includes information asymmetry. Information asymmetry is that they don't understand you. They don't understand what you are doing. Number two, you are perceived to be risky. But number three, among them could be that you are truly risky. So the question of information asymmetry, the question of perception of risk, and the question of the reality of risk. So those are among the things why there is the gap between your demand for credit and what the banks are able to offer. The banks do not lack money to offer. If you look at the liquidity position of many of our good banks, it is over and above the threshold. During COVID time, it was ranging up and above 50 and above, while the requirement would be around 20% in terms of the threshold required. So it means that the banks have the money, but when an MSME goes to the bank, he is not able to be served. He will either receive credit under what we call terms that are unfavorable. The amount could be small, so the quality of credit that they get is not good. Other countries like South Korea have used guarantee instruments to deploy credit to MSMEs way back from the 1970s. And that has seen them grow the economy pretty well. So we have examples like the South Korean guarantee scheme, we have the Malaysian guarantee scheme. So the thinking around guarantee scheme has been in this country way back in early 2009 under the National Social and Economic Council. In 2012, they developed a bill to do something around guarantees. But 2020 now, during COVID, we were able to set up an instrument to support MSMEs. I'm just trying to summarize the understanding of what we are doing. So a guarantee is different from direct liquidity from government. When you go to KIA, KIA will give you money directly. But a guarantee provides an assurance to the bank that the government of Kenya is behind you. The government of Kenya understands what you are doing. And therefore, when you go to the bank, your requirements are either relaxed or reduced, and you are able to receive credit. That in itself is collaborating and supporting the government agenda in terms of delivering credit to the MSMEs. So this was set up in 2020, as I said. We signed a contract with 7 banks who have been deploying credit to our MSMEs. As we speak today, we have about 6.26 billion on the market in about 46 counties. All categories of MSMEs have received credit, meaning both the micro, the small, and the medium enterprise. The biggest percentage are the small, and then we have micro, and then the medium enterprises. What you do in this case, we don't offer money, and I'm not carrying a money back here. You go to the bank that are a part of the product. They assess you based on a criteria which we have developed. Then you are lent money. We have seen very good stories in terms of what has been deployed. We have seen lending happening close to just 10,000 shillings. This implies that this kind of an MSME is truly a mamamboga, and this kind of an MSME has walked to the bank and has been able to be assisted. And then, of course, the average loan size is around 1.4, 1.5 that has been deployed to the market with a maximum, of course, 5 million. The first product was a pilot product. So, of course, we've just been able to do up to 5 million. The other thing that is very good for us, close to 70% of the beneficiaries are new borrowers who had not accessed credit from the bank, from the reports. We receive our reports through CBK, and we use the report to make decisions. The MSMEs who have been supported have supported close to 25,000 jobs from the reports, supporting their families and what they are doing on the market. I think basically those are the things we can say. What we are looking to do after doing a pilot, we are in the process of doing a major reform so that this can deploy a bigger portfolio on the market. The beauty about credit guarantee is that government is able to do more. For now, the current guarantee that has been done, for every 1 shilling government of Kenya has guaranteed, 2.3 shillings for private sector has been deployed. In other words, we have unlocked private sector credit to the market. The guarantees that have developed have done up to 10 times, meaning if you give the guarantee instrument 10 billion, if you do very well, you are able to do close to 40 billion on the market using the guarantee product. So it's an instrument that we are developing. From the lessons learned, we are currently undertaking public participation to undertake a reform. We have sent out a notice. It's already happening in the market. We are now want to deploy a proper policy for guarantee instruments in the country because we have other guarantee instruments being offered on the market. So basically, that's what we do. It is still a small unit under Treasury, but we are looking forward to grow it to become a bigger entity that can do more on the market. So thank you. I have taken slightly more time because one, we are basically, I'm sure most of you, this is the first time you are hearing of this. Any of you had heard about guarantee from you guys? All right, good. I see we've had meetings and public participation exercises where we have shared this with members of the public, but I think we are still new in terms of delivering what we are delivering. If you look at Vision 2030, and you look at the medium term 2 and 3, the guarantee instrument was mentioned. So we've just been the trailblazers to set it up. If you look at MTP number 4, there is a strong pronouncement about this product of guarantee under the financial inclusion agenda. So thank you. I would love to receive many questions as possible, as soon as possible, so that when I step out and leave my colleagues, you can still engage with them. But thank you for allowing us to just share what we are doing. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate him. Asante sana Bwana Ronald. I think we have given him more time because we knew CGS. A number of us don't know CGS exists. And it's a flagship project which would really add value to the MSMEs. And we will be able to be told as we move further which banks you can be able to access so that you're able to know. And we are asking those in our social media platforms. You can be noting your questions. Then you'll be able to post your questions and you can follow through our social media platforms. Even those here who have a question. In case you have a burning question, feel free to put your hand up. Even as a panelists introduce themselves, and if you have a burning question, one or two before we go to plenary. But let's move forward. We can move with the State Department for Livestock. Nora?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Good morning once again. Yeah, I am Nora from the Directorate of Veterinary Services, Ministry of Agriculture. Hides and skins are in 3 forms. We have production, processing.
Just an interjection. Please hold it closer so that, yes.
I go closer
yes,
to.
Thank you.
All right. We have production, processing, and utilization. So for us, from the Directorate of Veterinary Services, we mainly do production. Because the animal is with us, it is with the Directorate of Veterinary Services, and ours is mainly to do quality improvement. So we have counties, the county officers, which we have a challenge because as per now, 20 counties do not have leather development officers. 20 counties, you can imagine. And that is why in most cases you hear bad quality every time. And it happened just recently because it started like from 2013. You can see during the time of devolution, the time of also empacos, the no more employments. So that is why there is a lot of outcry as concerns quality, because these hides and skins need somebody to make sure that to be there each and every time. If you are not there in the slaughterhouse, if the officer is not there, people might not see that nobody is watching, so they can slaughter the way they want. The officers in the counties, if we have all of them, they are supposed to do what? They are supposed to go to the slaughterhouses, or they start first of all from the farmers. The farmers are supposed to be engaged, to be informed on how they are supposed to take care of the hides and skins while they are still on the animal. They are not supposed to brand. They are supposed to be shown where to brand and what have you. The next one, they are supposed to go to slaughterhouses. They are supposed to be shown the right tools, or how they are supposed to hang the carcass, how they are not supposed to pull across the floor and all this. After that, they are supposed also to be followed. The skin is supposed to be followed now to the preservation, whereby now we have the traders. In Kenya, we have like 2,500 traders. The flares, we have like 10,000. Slaughterhouses, we have like 2,100. So the traders are 2,500, and that is also the drying or suspension or curing premises. And they are supposed to be told how they are supposed to put the correct amount of salt, how they are supposed to keep it for how long, and how they are supposed to be protected. After that, now the DVS also still follows the skin all the way to the tannery, where we have registered, for example, this year, 12 tanneries. But the most active ones, we can say there are only 3 or 4. And in the tanneries, what do we do also? We make sure that they have been registered. And when they want to export, that is now Kabete, as in Kabete, when they want to export, we are supposed to issue them the health certificate for their export. That is in the county, and also I've mentioned tanneries are only supposed to be, it is the national who are dealing with the tanneries, because the counties only goes up to the state of preservation, and that is the end. Now they hand over to the national, whereby we are the ones to do the registration and even the clearance of export. So in the national, we do standards and policy mainly. And we do capacity building. We have a desk for capacity building. We capacity build counties. We have a desk for value addition and environment. We have also a desk for inspection, verification, and also export. The intervention that the government is doing at the moment, we have a roadmap which we developed recently, presidential directive roadmap, which we are implementing. Because when the better government came, they saw that hides and skins and leather has the potential to improve the economy of this country. So kwa sababu ni watu wa kusema na kutenda, they have actually given us the budget, improve our budget, because you cannot do anything without the budget. All along, even the way you hear things are not going on well, it's because when there is no budget, it's difficult to implement, even if you have good plans or good roadmap. But to them, this better government given us good budget this year, and even I believe it will progress. And the things that we want to turn around now, it's like we have some, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 things that we have done in the roadmap, and the government wants to follow it up and make sure that it has been done to turn around this industry. Number 1 is we are harmonizing TVET curriculum with the one that we have in Haiti. Haiti Kabete is the one whereby all of us seated here, we went through Haiti Kabete. And we have Kimathi that came recently, and Nairobi University. Otherwise, before that, it used to be only Haiti Kabete, which was offering skills on hides and skins. And thereafter, some of us, we went out of the country. But this time, we have Kimathi and Nairobi University, who are now training on skills. So this, in the roadmap, we have earmarked that we want to harmonize all the curriculums so that they produce skills that are matching with the one for Kabete, so that they will also do improvement of the quality, they do processing, and they also do utilization. Because at the moment, the TVETs are only basing on utilization, that is products, but now we want all of them now to understand as rights from production, so that at least we have a wide area of knowledge. We have also in the roadmap concerns the banders. Why is it that sometimes you hear the hides and skins are being thrown away? It is because people, the traders, stopped building banders. Banders are the preservation stores. They stopped building banders, especially when there was change of preservation method, which used to be called suspension, to salting. So when that method changed, because it reached a time the tanner said, we want something that can soak very fast. So they said that we want now salted goods. So this, most of the premises, maybe they didn't know how to convert to it or what happened, and now I'm saying the officers now also started decreasing in number, so maybe they didn't get the right advice. But now we have given a directive as Director of Veterinary Services that by 2025, every slaughterhouse should have a bander adjacent to every slaughterhouse. And the model, we have done the model, and we have already given them to build on a model that we are giving them. We have also in the roadmap a leather development fund, which it will very much help in case there is no market, there is no automatic market for the existing, maybe tanners or the traders, to absorb all the hides. The government with the leather development fund will come and do all the contract tannings to absorb all the hides instead of being thrown away, for example, will absorb all the excess hides and skins, process them, and the SMEs will be sold at a waiver, because now the government, it will be a government fund. So the SMEs will be sold the leather, at the finished leather, at a waived price, which in the end, in the event, they will also make things. Instead of somebody was selling me 3,000 wallet, maybe when the government will sell to such a person at maybe as a cheaper price, you will also be able to sell at a cheaper price. And what is the government agenda? We want now to be exporters of products, not the processed hides and skins. So that is the Leather Development Fund. We already have done the concept, and we want to believe that if the government will honor that the way they had planned, I think everything will go well very soon. We are also reviewing CAP 359. We are guided by CAP 359, and we are reviewing. It had been mutilated in the year, what was the year? 2012. So, no, 2006. 2006, I think it was 2006. So it is actually a bit of skeleton, which might not have, which might not help. But now we are reviewing, and we have a zero draft, which we are yet to subject to the stakeholders, and it will be very ready very soon. Yes, we have also capacity building of 21,000 slaughterhouses, flares. The 10,000 flares we have started, because I've said the government have honored and they have given us the budget. And we have started, and we have done almost like 12. We have done almost 12 counties, capacity build, 12 counties since 2013. But the one we have done from 2022 are like 7 counties. So we are going to accomplish that, and we believe that the issue of quality will stop. And also the Director of Veterinary Services have given a directive to all the counties who do not have the staff through the COG to employ at least leather officers for continuity of this roadmap. Even national government have also advertised recently, and we are employing like almost 15 officers for leather development officers for national. I want to believe also the counties will do the same, and it will be fine. And those are a few of our interventions in the roadmap. Thank you very much. I've taken a long time. We have a strategy. We have a strategy which is already ready. And I had even made some brief I thought I was going to present. But if I'll not present, I will just give you, because we have the issues and the interventions in that strategy. I will give you. So we are planning to print it anytime, so that we give to the counties for implementation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's appreciate her very well. Thank you, Nora. I think you have touched a key issue that we have seen and has been in discussion about the quality of our hides and skins, which is a key issue that has been discussed over and over in research and I think we can see what you want to do to ensure that we have quality raw material for our leather products. I would choose to first KLDC to be last.
I'll be last.
No, he's.
Oh, you'll be last.
Yeah,
Can I first go to industrialization, then come back to KLDC?
Okay.
Yes, so then come back to KLDC. Kindly, Koske for industrialization.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. My name is Stanley Koske, the Deputy Director in charge of Agro, deputizing the Director of Agro Industries in the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry. Thank you very much. And we are really honored to be here. As you know, the role of the government, as a department, we are the policy formulation, and indeed, under the better economic transformation agenda, we have a role to play. We are talking of leather, and leather has immense opportunities in value addition. So as a department, when we look at leather, there are so many value additions that can be done. I've had my other colleagues talk about the leather, or maybe talking about the livestock. We also have fish leather as one of them. And as a department, we are in the sectoral committee, the collaborative committee on PETA, and we had some roles that we were assigned as a department. The development of flaying knives. Remember, the kind of knives that are used by our entrepreneurs in the slaughterhouses are not actually the right knives. For a long time, we have been importing knives, flaying knives from outside, and as a ministry, we have given the responsibility to do and develop our flaying knives, and already the samples are out. The numerical machine complex, the one that we have as one of our key units, have developed one. So we want to roll out that, and we have been working hand in hand with the sector players, the players in the industry. We have even some entrepreneurs who have actually even opted to donate the flaying knives, because the kind of leather that we get is actually not good quality because of the kind of knives that we use. So the numerical machine complex have developed, and we'll roll it out. We also have also donated some equipments to some of the common user facilities. I know my colleagues in KLDC will attest to this. The Karioko, we managed to acquire some machineries for common user facilities. So the entrepreneurs in Karioko can be able to access that and improve on whatever they are doing as a common user facilities. On PKK, that is Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, we have formed a multi-sectoral committee where we chair, and the procurement of most of the uniforms, like the uniforms, the equipments that we use, the shoes for the uniformed police forces, the NYS, and all that, we make sure that at least they are sourced from the local manufacturers, So it's quite a lot. We don't import these days. They do manufacture. We have also our parastatal in the ministry, that is the KEPS. They are in charge of quality. So we are working hand in hand to improve on the quality of our produce from the entrepreneurs. And indeed, we have officers that are attached to that, so that at least they help the entrepreneurs get a good quality. When we talk about the animal feeds, the value addition, the job creation that is there in that sector is quite overwhelming. The export earnings that are there is quite good, but this is a sector that needs great efforts from the government and collaborative partners. The technology involved is also one thing. We need to improve that technology in most of our tanneries and the later processing. So thank you very much. Maybe that's the little that I have.
Thank you very much, Bwana Koskei. I think that is very informative. You can see what the State Department for Industrialization is doing to ensure that we have quality raw materials, and also to ensure that the value addition, we produce products that fit both our local and international markets. Now I'll bring John from KLDC.
Thank you.
Sana.
Thank you, Mr. Waweru. I had to talk fast because he's my boss, and after he has talked, I can't talk now. I had to talk fast. Now, I'm working for Kenya Leather Development Council. Kenya Leather Development Council is a state corporation established pursuant to the State Corporations Act, Cap 446 of the laws of Kenya, via legal notice 114 of 9th September 2011. You see, it is a very young state corporation. Previously, all of us used to work in the veterinary department because we are leather technologists and leather technicians. The council was established as a specialized agency to drive the government's agenda of leather sector development and promotion of its value chain. Now, as Kenya Leather Development Council, we have projects which are ongoing now. We have the development of Kenya Leather Industrial Park, which is, in short, we call it CLIP, and it is in Kinanie, the EPZ site, Mavoko Sub-County, Machakos County. The second project we have is Karioko Common Manufacturing Facility, and this is in Karioko in Nairobi. This one we realized that there were problems because our SMEs were using tools which were not precise, and so we wanted to support the SMEs by providing tools, equipments, and machines which are precise, so that they can manufacture quality products which can be competitive in the local market and the international market. So Kariako Common Manufacturing Facility is now working, and some of the products which you might have seen outside have been manufactured at Kariako Common Manufacturing Facility. For a long time, we used not to have a training institution whereby the artisans could train. Most of the training the training method was by intern, like somebody training another one. But now we have an institution called Training and Production Center for Shoe Industry, and this one is in Dhika, and it is ongoing, and we have trainees. Some of the SMEs who are in the market today, they have come from TPCSI, which is Training and Production Center for Shoe Industry. Now, because without the raw materials, our industries cannot move on. And so there was a problem when the raw materials did not reach the tannery, and the tanneries were getting less and less of quality raw materials. So we had developed a program in heights and speeds improvement, and this program we couldn't do it alone. We had to do it with the DDS, because they have the mandate to do that. So we developed a program whereby we could support in that program. As at now, I think I'll stop at that because I know so many questions will be coming and will be answered. About the, I know so many people don't know about the LEAD, the Republic Manufacturing Facility, how it is operating. All of that, we will answer it here. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you can handle. Thank you. Let's appreciate John. Turn over to Mr. Mwangi to wrap up, and then we move forward. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning once again. For me, I'll be very brief because I think we have said a lot about leather. But I would want to look at it from, if we all did all what we are doing, what is one thing that we require to do so that the industry can survive? And this is the market development. I think for me, it is very, very key that all activities that are done to support any activity in the leather sector, that we have a sustainable market that will push the leather sector. Because whatever you have, you can't sell, still be a waste. So as government, we are re-evaluating. We are in the process of re-evaluating the performance of the leather sector from the market side, not from the production side. The production side is almost autopilot. We still eat meat whether we are using the hides or skins. We are still going to eat meat tomorrow. So production is purely, apart from quality, is purely an autopilot sort of activity. But then we have to look at the market. So one of the key things is we have re-evaluated the value of the leather sector in Kenya. I heard the director say that it was 120. As per the last report I read last week, the evaluation currently is 175 billion. That's a gold mine we are sitting on. 175 million worth of investments, and this is what we are looking at. So we have to look at how do we benefit? How does the country really ride on that industry for development? So one of the key things is what we are looking at is for you to manufacture, and I'm very happy about Treasury and the guarantees. Our SMEs need support so that they can acquire technology. The industry is no longer the usual things. You know, I remember, I've been a bit long in this industry, and we had what used to call rotaners. And those rotaners were making leather pure to make belts and a few funny artifacts for the tourists. That is gone. That market, even if it exists, cannot account for 1% of the national market. So we have to move away from what we have always tried to do to what we need to do to survive in the industry. I remember, I think in a regional meeting we had in December, the question I've kept on asking is, will the leather industry in Kenya survive? You know, the situation we are in a global arena, and whereby even hides are looking for getting alternative markets for food. So these are some of the things we are trying to address. So one of the key things is, I think, with the PS livestock and the PS trade, we are carrying out a route market study. supported by the World Bank. I think we will come back to you so that we need your suggestions. That's one of the key things. We need to tilt the whole industry on its head. We have had this industry for the last 120 years. We have exported hides. We have, sometimes we have even eaten hides. But I think we have to ask ourselves, why haven't we got it right in the last 100 years? And the key thing is the market. How sustainable is our market? What is the government doing to support export-ready SMEs so that they can be able to go to the markets where the money is, and then they can be able to sustain the production systems? So we have mapped the industry in two ways. What is it that you drive the local market? And as per the roadmap Madam was referring to, we have initiated that the first market will be school shoes. So we have to look at a way of how we can manufacture 15 million pairs of shoes every year, for our school-going children. Because that's a huge market. And we expect investment towards that area, and that will be able to upgrade the technology in shoe manufacturing. The second one is, we have done a bit of it. We have done the military surprise. I think that's a wrong story how we were even able to achieve that. It was not a very easy thing to convince government that we can make shoes for military, but now they are there. So that one is ongoing. So the second one we are now exploring is security boots for non-military operators. The industrial workers, footwear, and the security officers, the ones we have, the private security, how are they procuring their products? We are targeting another probably 10 million pairs, just purely around school shoes, not school shoes, around factory workers and security people. So this should be able to drive the local market. And then we are looking at what do you drive our export market? Is it footwear? Is it leather goods? Or what is it that we are going to drive? And I think we totally agree with most of our SMEs who are now in that space of leather bags and travel goods, that our strength lies in travel goods. We have to look a way of becoming competitive in the travel good internationally. There's more money to it. There's more value. That means there will be more dollars for the industry. So we are trying to replan the whole industry so that it becomes sustainable in the long run and it creates the wealth that it requires. One of the things is we appreciate, even today as we sit here, 70% of all footwear and probably 90% of all other goods that are made in this country are made by SMEs. So SMEs have a critical role in this industry. So we have to look at it and see what is it that they require. Key things that we are looking at is what Treasury is doing, the guarantee. Mm-hmm. The second one is issues of skills development. Internationally, the product quality is improving. So if you cannot be able to meet that benchmark, you are cut off. So we are looking at how do we help the industry in terms of capacity building, in terms of skills development. And I think this is one of the key things that the new government we are trying to do. Like my manager has said, we have a small institution in Indika. We have been able to rebrand it. We have actually revised its operations. So we have started training for the industry. If you want stitchers, if you want cutters, we are rolling out a new program that will help our SMEs to perfect. So the other aspect is production technology. We have to be competitive. If we were to sit down and try to calculate our productivity index in the leather sector, how well are we doing? We have interacted with companies. Sometimes it's quite unfortunate. I have interacted with an investor in Vietnam who makes leather jackets. And he was he was frank. He told me, with the sort of equipment that you people have, your productivity per person is 14 units per day. He is doing 42 units in a day. Same equipment, same labor. These are the areas we need to look into because that's the future of the industry. The future of the industry is not the hides. We have always had the hides. The future of the industry is what do we do with our hides? And how competitive are we going to be in doing that? So we are looking at it. Even Madam talked about the issue of our development fund. We are looking at whether it is possible for us to do a production technology upgradation scheme. Those people with the old machines, how can they be funded to acquire new technology for production so that we can compete? Those are the key areas that holds the future. And then those companies, those SMEs that are export ready, we need to sit down and look at it. What is the view out there? What are the challenges out there? So that we can be able to advise the government on what needs to be done. Because we can keep on selling to ourselves. I think the other day I was talking to somebody from my office, okay, your peers. I say, you can have a square foot of leather, isn't it? You can sell it probably at 160, a kg at wet blue. You can sell it at 280 as a shoe upper. You can sell the same piece of leather if it's properly processed for 500, for probably 1,000 shillings if it's proper upholstery. So what value addition are we talking about? When you start talking, sometimes I hear people talking about value addition, and I wonder what sort of value addition? Are we talking the value addition of 180, or are we talking a value addition of that 1,000 shillings per square foot? Real value addition will take us where we want, where there's money, but it requires a lot of hard work in terms of skills development, technology upgradation, and finally the policy environment. The environment has to be right. So I want to finish by probably saying something about Kenani. We have talked about Kenani for the last, I think, 10 years. Sometimes we feel ashamed of even talking about it. It has taken too long. But the reality, isn't it? So we are just about to to open the doors for investment. We want to have more tanners in the country. Not only more tanners, we want to have tanners with the right production technology and the right skills to drive that sector. Because whichever way you look at the leather industry, leather processing or tanning is the anchor. It is tanneries who create market for our producers. It is tanneries that produce for other good manufacturers. So we have to link and see how we can grow the tanning sector and then link it up. And lastly is the model we have taken for Karioko. It is the first model that has been done in probably the whole of Africa. That also means it is not very easy to operate because we have very few references. But the concept is this. Instead of an SME going to ask for money at the market rates to buy a machine, why can't they access that government machine at a fee? So instead of investing 1.2 million to buy a splitter, why can't you go and have your other split in a government area for probably 20 shillings? So what we're trying to look at is we are trying to facilitate. We are trying to ease in the burden of investment, that we only invest in critical areas. So Karioko is working, it's not working perfectly. We're going around it, but it will work. And when it works, we expect that probably will be replicated in other areas where we have clusters that won't move away. So for me, this partnership should work better for everybody, especially for SMEs that are export ready. We need to look at what is that required out there. How is the compliance to both local and international standards? How is the documentation of our exports to make sure that we have an easy market entry? And this is something we cannot work as a council alone. We need to sit down with the players themselves. We also need to bring about the Minister of Trade and actually the trade attaches. I had a virtual meeting with the trade attache from Brazil the other day. We want to know exactly what happens in the international arena so that we can be able to help. So for us, it's very, very important that we work as a team. We coordinate all those activities. What every department is doing is properly coordinated, and what every SME or manufacturer is doing is properly supported. And then probably we will talk about another industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mwangi. I think that is very elaborate and very informative. You have seen what the government is offering from all the speakers here. So what we'll do now, because in the interest of time, we'll move to the key implementers, who are the private sector. Briefly, they can say what they do, the products they offer, and maybe what they would want to get from the government side, so that my colleagues here in government can be able to respond and say, this is what, okay, sir, you want to add something?
Just something I've forgotten. Because we have this issue of capacity about, when you talk about capacity, you always look outside. I think it is very, very important we appreciate that we have a lot of capacity. I have asked that microphone because I want to give an example. In TPSI, we have had a machine for making salts. We used to support SMEs for a very long time. The machine broke down 15 years ago. We have tendered for it to be repaired. We have looked for people to repair it. They have been unable. I have engaged the Technical University of Nairobi, TUK. And yesterday, they sent me a video that the machine can work. So what I'm saying is, let's try to harmonize the amount of energies, the amount of skills, the amount of capacities that is in this country for the common good. Thank you.
Just to add on what he said, I'm pretty excited at what they are doing in terms of the leather sector. In my working with the MSMEs and the sector, the things he's saying are really the things that we need to take care of if we have to take advantage of the export market. Because the export market requires something called finesse, fine goods. If you want to go for export, you need fine goods. Number two, you require scale. Because the other challenge is, one of the things when we discuss in Treasury, we discover that if we, now let's talk about leather. I've seen very nice bags out there. If we tell you to produce 10,000, the challenge that we find is that sometimes they are not the same. The question is, you know why it is easy to use chargers? Chargers are uniform. When you fix a charger into your phone, it will work. So one of the things that we need to work on is the capacity building should be focused on fineness of the product and standardization of the product, so that if we are looking for export, because the question sometimes has always been, we need money. But you need to deal with the other fundamentals. I like the way he said, deal with the question of the market. Deal with the question of standardization. Deal with the question of the technology. Deal with the question of your productivity. Because you see, what we are talking about is a competitive market where you are not allowed to sell at the price you want. It's actually, you're not a price giver. You are a price taker on the market at the end of the day. And one of the reasons why we are negotiating these treaties, including the African Free Trade Continental, it is for us to access that market. And for you to do that, you require scale, you require competitiveness, and you require the product to be fine. I think I just wanted to agree with him in that sense so that we can be able to work together in this to develop the sector. Thank you for that.
I think we can appreciate them. Before we move to what the private sector is doing, maybe there are a few burning questions you'd want to ask. And I think that is why we are here, so that you can clarify a few issues from the government stakeholders, then we can now move to the private sector. So maybe anyone with some burning questions that, or clarification or any additional information you may want to. Yes.
But sometimes it is clear that and I'm just saying from Uko, like as a casual observer that doesn't really interact too much with everyone, because you either are in the factory or you become a policy influencer, that there is fragmentation of all these departments. So from where I sit, I imagine that anything leather would have to go through Leather Council. But then you hear like livestock, for example, is doing a completely independent thing from the one primary caretaker of this industry. So for us, it gets exhausting, honestly. I'm like, okay, so yesterday there was another meeting where Don Bosco there. Some Italians are talking about our future. I was sitting there like, this is unbelievable. And then there was another one again on Monday, Tuesday, I saw pictures. So I think we need to be really cohesive, because otherwise it's going to be another 10 years. And my friend here is getting tired because he's been saying the same things for 40 years. And I'm really now getting worried that we start from scratch again. My appeal is that can we just have one funnel and really that it counts for something. That's all.
Okay. I think that is why we are trying to coalesce together, see whether we can have one common agenda and one way of moving.
Okay. I appreciate for us being here. Oh, mine is concerned. I'm so much concerned about production, because if we don't produce good products, then we are heading nowhere. And for us, the SMEs, we have a challenge. The facility where at the career port, and me myself, there is a challenge, because when it comes to purchase the leather, I have to go to the factory. If I go to Kitengela to buy leather in Faramo, then the process is I have to take a bus from Kibra to Kitengela, back to Kibra. Then, when am I going to prepare my goods, take them to Kariako after cutting, then I do the stitching there, or if I don't have, like for me, my main problem is the splitter and the skiving machine. I find it difficult to travel all the way from Kibra to Kariako just to do such. But I appreciate, because even if the machines are not there, I've been doing it, though at small capacity. And again, not all of us that are here as SMEs, we are very good at marketing. For me, I appreciate that I can produce, but I'm a very poor marketer. How can the government come into it to make somebody like me, who can produce, to see the light? That is my question. And for down there where we are, because it's surviving, something that I cannot do on my own. And most of the time that I meet the people who are willing to join the leather industry, if you hear their story, it is as if they have interest, but as you all know, you cannot give knowledge for free. Those people don't have even the little amount that can sustain you. Believe me, that when somebody comes, he's a real person that doesn't know how leather is worked on for you to have a product. They will end up destroying your materials. Then how are you going to compensate for such? Okay, I'll leave it at that point.
I think mine is best problem. I think one of the problems I've been saying is that is very industry. It's an aspect of data. Kind of data I say, like, if today somebody was to ask me how many shoes are produced globally, you will not find data in any of the accurate data. You find that most of what we are using is 3.3 million pairs, which is a document I was given in 2015. So those who have been doing research have been referencing a document from 2015 down to 2024, which is 9 years later. You also find that nobody knows what is being done with the letter books for action. For instance, as I was here, nobody knows, maybe, for instance, how many bags were in mix, how many bags were in a mix, how many bags are full of mix. So in as much as we want to grow an industry, we are growing an industry that don't have facts about how many bags are being made. If you look at data from other countries, you find that other countries, you can see how many bags are made. You can see how many trees are made. You can see in the month of January, February, March. But for us, we have been referencing data for older comparable for a very long time. And I think that is one of the biggest problems we have, because when you go to talk to maybe higher officers of different organizations, we are not giving them the actual data. So I think that is one of the things that maybe the government can work on for the aspect of data and current what is happening.
How do we ensure this between us here and the education and the people who are engaging in the leather industry? How do we ensure that the policies and the systems that we have here reach the people of the class here?
Do you first want to know some of them? Yes, some of them. You start with Mr. Mon.
Thank you. I think I will one first. It is true that not only the data is foreign. We have no history of documentation. And this is something we are working on. I think as a country we have established a data bank for the industry. And we start breaking that. But I'll tell you one key thing, because I'm about to even pay Kenya National Very No. We have a problem of government private sector conflicts. When I come back for data from you, the first thing you want to know is what do I want to do with that data? The tax. You know it's better to get the truth. So I think from where we sit as a country, the first thing we want to build confidence with our prayers that they can give us information and confidentiality that will not be shared. That's the only way we are going to protect that. Because that's a very serious area. It affects our planning. When you talk about 15 million pairs of school shoes, I know we need 15, but I don't know how much enough thing. So why are we to move to 15 is a big challenge. So we have to really, as a country, as an industry, we need to think about the data. We need to build confidence among the players. Our SMEs have to look at us as partners. We are not competing. We are not making the data for the other part. I think that's one way I would want to look at that. And I've actually briefed the officer because I want to money. That we need first of all to be confidence. I don't briefly can't give you the money better than a question. I would want you to give me that data before you go and I'm going to use it for your benefit. I think that's the rate that is. So we need to look at that. So for Bonamofura, your name. Fura can answer the question now. What's the KIA? The president. And we start negotiating about that and see if we need some backup from there. What I'm saying is, even where we have got crashed should only work as security method. People should be able to grow government services and become independent. So it's only when you're independent and you're controlling your production system, you can be able to work on your efficiency and your productivity. Are you there? So we want to assist you just go to bridge that gap and become independent. We want to incubate you. But as we raise enough resources, it is very, very important to learn our own. We have work without that you can give up to. You are talking about the I will raise a question I raised about Sagoa 7 years ago. Everybody you were watching, I was Cyprus. 15 years. So every 15 years, we put a people of officers to you exhibit. Never did what does Samoa offer? 25% distribution. What would happen if I was to work within my company and use my production costs at 25%? It will mean I'll still go to America and sell whether it's Samoa or, and then our becomes an added advantage, not the new thing. So that's what I'm saying. We need that now further people. Let's try to move away from our dependence, even on those negotiations. Some of those negotiations put us in a basket or in a cycle we are unable to break you. I look at guys who export flowers to you. 15% to the region. The other day is 15%. A CS company should be able to come and back and say, what do I need to do to reduce my production costs and operations by 8%? That means even if I don't get that extradition, I will still sell at the price I'm selling. I think this is what I'm saying. We need to spin this industry around on the head and look at the real issue. So, Fura, not to condemn. I know I've said more than people I don't understand. I don't understand some of them. So, I'm not saying if you don't use it or use it, but because the capacity to operate on your own. And yes, that's all. Jordan must talk about food. We have tried to do the linkages from the farm to the market. That's not wrong. So we are starting with root markets and then we lead backward. Let's say industry serves a normal market towards fulfilling a particular market. And then you can say, what standard do we require to fill that market? How do we capacity build the value chain so that they have those standards? They have the ethics about the business. Thank you. I want to talk about that.
Yes, for us, in the education, we have data that concerns what comes through us. So, even data, how many local licenses are imported, we have that data. But we know there are others who might be passing without coming through us. We normally go 20%. Sometimes from 2013 we used to get from the counties the production fees. Now I am saying we are telling the counties because the officers are if you have to get from the production figures, but in the counties you do not need that. So we have that challenge. What I was also is the reason why we have the data on
where because maybe you are not if that one now to be able to give the figures.
The question of data is very crucial. I like the question around developing data. At the end of the day, for your good. Because ideally, you don't do that, you need to protect the finals. But what data does management, you know, how to transfer, how to bring together, how to just go fuller, you need to let them do the group around people, to be able to handle them in a better way. So the more you want in finals, the more your costs are high. The more you deliver different kind of products, the more you see them different. You know, you look at each other as competitors rather than collaborators. My view is that we should look at each other as collaborators. No, you are no. When you look at each other as collaborators, you smart them for reason. You can put this machine in this place. You put a proposal in the car. Man will buy your proposal. Maybe it was a change. So for me, I think the idea is let's collaborate more, both at the private sector level. Don't look at each other as competitors. Look at each other as collaborators.
My name is Janet from first of all, I would like to comment especially so many of the event, but not people who are coming out and starting doing together with what maybe needs to be done is creating more awareness about the facility so that more people are aware that it exists and that they can also get trained from there and also learn production from there. I think that's good. The other thing is also about what the government is doing to support the labor industry, especially for the universities and I think it's really key. I came with two of my staff who are from UN and one of them is a professor, the other one is a practitioner, and you can really see the fruits which we are getting from the process. And what I would request maybe because that is the change generation. How can we empower them so that when they come to the market, they are not adapting, they are bringing new ideas, new ways of improving the dynamics.
I think that's a good proposition. Then after the next two questions, we can really come. So the next two comments, we can really figure out the data.
I was just to add on the opportunities available. My name is Anne from Stakeholder'S. Just to say that we are also undertaking this project as the Ministry of Investment Trade in developing county acquisition industrial parks within our counties. Already expanding from about 4.7 billion shillings going to about 18 counties. I'm sure you have seen the groundbreaking that have been done. There's a gentleman there who talked about, how else can we come together and all working inside of us. I think we need to think beyond Nairobi, beyond the Kenyan industrial park. Can you go to the counties and develop common manufacturing facilities there? And talk to the banks, talk to the development partners, come together, put some machinery there. And I think in terms of production, we'll gear up the we'll gear up the both from the government. So let's think about that also.
Thank you very much.
This is true. And that's not true.
You can respond to that one then.
Yeah, I want to hear about the issue of innovation. What's innovation beyond the space? I think this is a discussion we have. And I always say, that's what I'm saying, when we look at the export market, we go to travel and other goods. What is more space for innovation than it is? How we create our schools is dependent on the shape of our feet, isn't it? And we are not doing things in that shape. Very good. So you can just maybe the athletics, but nothing new. A school will always be a school with an outcome and a soul. But when you go out there, if you go out for innovation, in a talk about, in fashion, I think that's where the future is. And that's what I'm trying to look at it down the road. And we can be able to create new products. I remember a few years ago I met a lady who was doing the race for horses. So the only person was doing it, get a big bucket in around the world. Well, these are areas that we can never innovate for. It's not necessary. Why aren't people who want to challenge them to look at the future players? What is new? And how do we move about it? It is a product of the future. That will determine the process of the development of the future. Today, when you look at another space, I've seen the banner organization of 140 all the way to 1,000. Those people who are operating in that before. There are 4 groups. The main group that's produced by the government. You know that's one of the most expensive kind of items you want to know. It is the forest of them, but it's very, very expensive because it is, we are not looking at it from an intelligent point of view. We are looking at the class that uses that product. It is a different thing. It is not about the house square feet that we are looking at. We are looking at who is going to use that house square feet. Rather, and he can afford it. So these are the things that I'm going to talk about innovation. This is what we are saying. For those people who are familiar with university, they are rather technologists. Rather technologists should be a base of understanding the industry, but not the future. You should use that base to grow to what you want to be. If you want to have a market in the industry, you use the knowledge rather to know how to market the product. If you want to create new products, use the knowledge in the that is available to create those new products. That's what I want to say about innovation. Because innovation, we are going to see how we can create an innovation hub. Beyond it there, we want to create an innovation hub where we can bring our designers and look for sponsors who can sponsor new products. I think one of the key things that we are doing in planning is we are going to develop what we call an center, which will bring innovation and fashion in the region. So it's something that we are looking at. But the challenge lies with the entity. What is it that they want to do? So and we also have a question on production. Bilateral. We are not bilateral. And not. How well are we doing it? It comes back to something else. Yeah, coming to that. One of the things that if we want to push in this space, one, we need private sector come together. Like what you have been told, not as centers, but as collaborators. Let's have a solution that can sit down and get it. Let's have a solution that can tell us what we are facing. We see what we are able to do that. And then, when it comes to our method, I always hear people talk about it. And sometimes we want to generate the person we do. Because we have to appreciate that the government drove, you know, you look at so the Ethiopians were never subjected to real competition. From my analysis, my friend, I don't understand an Ethiopian anymore. What we need to do is put our hands together. Who can resolve we have and who can help use them. Our trade systems, our manufacturing systems are far ahead of them. Therefore, I have an advantage of foreign students. And I really speak of million by far. And everybody is cheaper than our everybody here by far. So what we need to do, if you have an environment where is healthy, and everybody is healthy, you look inward and look at how to improve your efficiency. And if you
can bring in the
That says, we sit here and discuss all of the industry. The way I wish to bring to mind as the government as one of the pillar of the economy. What sad story we have is the industry is not there. But most people to agree is the industry will not be there without very much. That is without access. And that is a big challenge we have in this country. As much as we want to bring a lot of investors. But I want to tell you this the industry, as being the man of whatever that require the industry to grow. It's competitive. There is no way we believe on investors, even ourselves, invest $10 million, $2 million, to set up a branch where you don't have guarantee of the return. So why are we missing the guarantee of the return? But if you remember when the elected was talking, he said maybe last year or sometime there was 12 times. And today it's not very sure whether it's 6 or 4 in a month. One is where should we be getting more getting out instead of going the times? As I've said that before, the biggest challenge we have in this country which is a raw material. I say we have got one big opportunity. Kenya being one of the biggest leaders in this Africa, from Tanzania, I don't think it's a why we should not be able to have materials. But we have got so much system which is working. And for us, to give you a policy that can run the weather industry program, we see like instead of about 50%, which was revised in 2012. We find currently our take-home is about Nigeria. What gross return is about 1.2 million. The question is where 1.7 was. You can't leave me today. There is some heights in the challenge, not because we don't have the language. And even before I talk about the police, because much of our heights are taken out of this Africa. The question comes on, are these heights exported to West Africa as food through no procedures or health protocols? The answer is no. And so, if it's the same government, with the release of health certificates, but this heights will be taken out of this country as food, and they are warehoused in West Africa. Then how do we expect to grow it? Because all SMEs we have around here. And let me tell you, this about in December, we were actually when I consolidated the release of the letter. We are going to release more than 1 million square feet in 10 hours. That means the production in the SME it is so high. So we should have. We want the industry as the council as a free or we should try to be we appreciate that from 3 years ago, as it was said, that our government has had the consumer of food trade in the country. I can assure you, if you look at the Interior Ministry, the Defense Ministry, the product we are taking out of food trade is so huge that even the capacity we have, we are not able to meet what we want. This one where I was trying to back, we were ordered to release some goods which are supposed to be used for next week in the election the bus and harvest. I tell you, the value of heights when it is taken care of the value. One good, which is about this square feet, is going for 7,000. So you find the carcass is of less value than the next one. So now, which is going to be a byproduct? This is the beach or the house. So you are with me, it is right. Because if you take that one, a height of that square feet, it will be giving us about that much. That is about 110,000. And maybe that's also about 70,000. So, we should be a stakeholder in the industry more than that. The government is building this. And it's going to be very difficult for us to keep on investing where you want to have received of your understanding. Any investor wants to know how long will it take me to get back my investment. But as you say that, we still have a very high hope. And what we need to do is when we propose to the relevant matter, Ghana, you are going to put in there of all what it takes for the industry to grow. But the question is, how soon we will implement those information when we have a check? It will take a whole day. I'm telling you what we're discussing today, how we should run the very now. Where should the government reduce the duty of goods from 80% to 50% for export of goods? When the talent is in the country, we don't have that. Is that manipulation? You are creating this. Because for the last 30 years, you are having that duty understand. Okay, I understand some of the others are angry, but what I want to make is very yes. Let us do the truth. But the other question before is the height of their duties. Is it being taken out for it? Or for a different production? Which action should not be when you consider our relationship with other countries? So, continuing, what I would like to speak to stakeholders, if we have this part of the day, we as the partners, we are so much to increase our capacity. Also, assist the government in developing the scale of cost as we tried earlier on policy design and today. We require a scaled outcome. That is, we have to go from women, develop this. So we need to develop this. That is where we're going to be a challenge. The other challenge we have is on the quality. The direction of vendors is sort of what they think we are doing 3 years down the line since we don't manage. We want to talk in theory, in great skills. It is but it's time we should get out of that. So, as much as you want to support this again, we want to that our height today, like I said, a lot of confidence. When we require us together, pull together for specific level of what we have to go why? Because I want to ask there was so poor system, you know, that is straight enough. Our family will still get your hand, which is lovely. I didn't sleep with your control. I did lose a lot of people. Those people, they want to be coming to that was well. It's really more than it. Number 2, that is national values. Then you want to go to the reflection. We should go about. The other day we had the fashion lunch. They brought us some kind from the farm. They are doing research on best to produce good leather. Why? You get a it's not news. And I'm saying it is not because we should not be talking about poor trade in our tours. Because we were next to something else I would like to make your attention about this of years. You find there was so much segregation set up to improve the production. We find what we have in school, what we have in almost we have in big. It is good and it's mind because when we are setting up these meetings, because the government is very mind. Good consultation with stakeholders. Get to what they require at that particular time. Not be given what the government can afford. What the government can afford, they don't want to need. Because realistically, they started to have enough. Let us have market-driven investment. Because that's all what we need. Anything else than that, we need is knowledge of that, which will not give us the time. I can assure you, as far as the factory is concerned, we do find the state of the level of it is going down because of those few factors brought on board, and this we as stakeholders, we have request a very important. Let us have position, conflict ground, get a deep challenge, so that we can meet our goals efficiently. Kenyans are very next. We do as South Africa, where we are asking for possible talent. Kenya will be the best to meet in the somebody asked about the thing. The real one of setting up the channel is government supported that only infrastructure. Actually, investment. They have to struggle with the bank, therefore, assess, revisit, assess issues, and if you have to look up to the product, which, as I sit here, was one of the main challenges in the country. Then, from in-house to a product, you have to place in the product, and provide you with the bank, and provide you with the fuel. From one bank. So, we can't very difficult. Because it's not required. And for any growth that we need in this city, we have to give the stakeholders an achievement of the program. The other thing which is becoming a big challenge, and we should like to be assisted. I think a lot has been discussed about the levels. For any investment to have proper confidence, you understand, previously in the market, like us grants, if I invest this, I have for this loans available. So you can't have the issues of loans available, you don't have what is being produced, and what is that money. Any investment, they usually agree with me, the amount of proper value, so that your investment is not good for us. And I think we go to the max as of that.
Thank you so much. Any other ways before this question?
My first question is you can be able to give it to the market. Like the control of the inputs that's to the product that we make. For example, there should be Indian and most of the companies don't move like that. They don't go after the national government, but they should be able to sustain themselves. So, what are the nations getting employed to make sure that those industries were national employed?
Thank you. Any other before we allow the team to respond? Any other comment or query? We allow the free.
Yes. I think I started myself and one of the things we need to look at is we need to understand where we're coming from. We need to accept our industry structure is not perfect. So there are areas that require improvement. We need to restructure the industry in a way that the government is the facilitator, the private sector is there, and then we structure it in a way that that support from government is felt where it is required. I think those are the gaps that we have. Those are the gaps we are willing to support and do the rest of doing that. We need to understand that, our arguments all the way from the moment are issues. All the way, even what happened in the Philippines the year before. It's the truth. So what we need is we need to sit down and look at the structure this industry for the benefit of labor industry, not for food industry. And those people who want to start it for food industry should go to the Ministry of Health and Cabinet and have their own purpose. about how to develop leather for food. And then probably the back and say, who is paying? But we need to differentiate that the protocols we have that are no, for leather. So we are using Malaysia, I think it's something that we are in process. We accept the gaps that was reviewed. We accept the even gaps in terms of when we go. And some aspects of the current governments, some governments are prepared to consider their own. All the government is not about current government. And the government are about by the current government. So this is a challenge you're picking up, and you're ready to work with all the agencies so that we can move that. Then everyone here has talked about sustainability. What we're doing currently is, I will just what the message is. Next week, we are bringing in an expert very soon to carry out a route market. And this route market is not the usual study we have here about a few weeks. We want a very comprehensive evaluation of our potential markets and what is required to arrive at them. That's the sustainability we're talking about. Today, I'll give you a practical example. Today, if you want to export a shoe to US, what is it that you require? You realize the trade protocols in US will not so much ask you about the material, but they look at the way you have labeled that product. Have you captured all the materials that what it is? I should say. So we need to look at that critically. If business of people bring shoes here and then in the market, rather than market, we are trying to address that. What is the market rather than what it is? That's one issue. The other issue is we also have to accept that we are working in a region whereby we have a common city. So we have that market we want to be able to address, product data and address all those issues. And then if you accelerate from urban policy, that will guide the future of the business. Thank you.
Thank you. So, any other comments that from the panel or from the plenary?
Thank you so much. My comment goes to this period that I've been seated here and listening to the various speakers. And I see opportunities in a number of areas that we must accept as the stakeholders and players, both public and private, we have to do. One is the area of collaboration. I remember Chebet mentioning about the fragmentation and segmentation, and everybody doing their little thing somewhere. I think it's a high time we came together, all of us, and did something big together as a people. That is both private sector and public sector. And this will happen by we having a database. And I don't know who is in charge of the database within the leather sector. Of course, it's not AI. So
as a council, we are developing.
You're developing a database. Because what I've seen the government do is ask for public participation. I think it's now not it is actually anchored in law. But when we have public participation, a notice will be put in the Nation and Standard newspaper. If we look at SMEs presented here, Timothy, these people don't read Standard and Nation and all that. How do we engage them within their space, the digital space, so that when there is public participation, then they're able to get their input, so that we can develop policies and the initiatives that are market-driven, that there is a market we are not pushing as government or any other player. The other area, and I remember sitting down with one of my clients who is making shoes somewhere along Eastern Bypass, and he told me categorically about the quality of hides and skin that we are producing in this country. And I was also thinking about the area of traceability. How are we able to trace our skins and hides to the producer? Because then that will force the producer to ensure whatever they are pushing to the market is worth the market that we are giving it. I like what Mr. Mwanu mentioned about market. And I think for very long we've been talking about shoes. And even listening to him this morning, he has a very good market of school-going children, school shoes, and the security forces. And I've been thinking about the matatu industry, the transport industry. Those of us who had the privilege of getting to a matatu this morning, it's a privilege because those who drove, you had a lot of trouble. You were wondering where to park. You feared you'd be hit either from side each, either side. You also didn't know where overtake you from right or left, isn't it? But what seats do we have in our matatu sector? Is there an opportunity for leather in that sector? Is there an opportunity? A big one, isn't it? So if we were to try and innovate and skill for now the next level of leather, I think the opportunity in this sector are enormous, both from the producer to the tanners, to the cottage industries, and even to the export market. So if we collaborate, we have data, we have quality of high skills. Trust me, and I always say, I am in financing. Kenya has no shortage of money. And if you want to know, remember what our quails around. I don't know how many interacted with quails. Eh? Did we borrow from any bank? Did any bank finance us to keep quails? Yes? People have money, people have an idea where to get 100,000 to do something. But then when you do it and there is no market, when you do it and then there is no support, it becomes a bit difficult. So I think when we collaborate, we work together, we have all that, we should be able to move to make this country better for ourselves, more so for the children of our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doreen, for that summary and those recommendations. I think summarizes all we have discussed. Do you have one or two burning, then close? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any final impact of something else? I just want to know, because I just know what happens all the schemes, all the goals kind of get. And the schemes, or the highest, all the schemes. I have to go to the every
Then after the guidance.
Getting infrastructure of funds. So I'd like to ask the next point. I've seen some of our friends who are in other industries who are learning a job from the group study. One of the things that they are managed to grow as a youth. You see, as a youth, credit is not something you get easy. Because everybody seems to want to be investing in a youth, they're going to give you money and buy a car instead of developing your business. But there are things that I've seen most of the people which are grants. There's no grant that is being because if there is a problem, it will be 5 or 10 years ago, they won't come back. And then there is this green economy, circular economy. One of the reasons that most youths have been finding the issue of their growing good friends is because they have access to grants that are helping to invest in their business. And once now they have invested in their business, when they go to look for the credit, they are seeing something that they are already established. So it's easier for them to get credit after. So then is there a way that people in the other sector, when they look at groups for the grant, have a 50 or something that can accept grants, so they can put themselves up because I have to very go. But I'm one of the SMEs that are really respectful because at the moment, the products are made. I don't have a machine of my own. So I'm going to Kanyapa, do the strap cutting, and do the cutting, and do the splitting, and do the scanning. And then I'm forced to work on those products at night where I can access the machine. So we find us in the graph, you see, we have another machine in a place, and we utilize the whole check, big brush. Because I'm not likely, it is not easy to get credit as I use. It is something most people don't like to talk about it. But if you go to apps, if you go to INM, if you as I use, one of the hardest things is get credit.
Can close, we just got one.
I just respond more.
Just before director responds. allow me to do an interjection. I want to take this opportunity to recognize the presence of our Director General, Mr. Kenneth Mwini, who has been an active participant. When DG, I want to humbly request that we do this here so that the participants can.
Now, can I respond real briefly? I have had awareness about that. And we know there are areas, there are grants. But I always ask ourselves, there's no free lunch in this world. There's no free lunch, isn't it? What does that grant meant do to you in your business? If you can't have such a don't go for it. Because we might be tired out.
It's a very hot one here. 30 seconds, just please. Then you close. Very hot one.
Hi. Okay, I had some proposals about the topic that we are talking. Okay, I was having some proposals about the topics that we are talking about right now. And the first one was with the farmers. Okay, I will propose if they are given alternative branding materials such as organic paint and also the ear tags for their kettles to prevent branding with hot irons. For the flares, proper training and also to be given the flaying knives for preservation. I'm talking out of experience. The preserving people, they do not have the correct preserving salts, so you can provide them with that. For the prices, you can try and adjust the prices of the hides, especially from the slaughterhouses a little bit, since we have a big challenge in the pricing. Okay, if a hide some point it's priced at 50 bob, 100 bob, it's too low for them, and that's why they can't even flay some point in the correct way. About education, unfortunately, leather is scrapped, if I'm not wrong, from University of Nairobi. You can check upon that, since we have the Vision 2030. We are trying to promote it, but at the same time, in the schools and institutions, we are doing the list in that. It's something we can look up to. And the other thing is about the jobs. I graduated from UN with a first class in leather science, and you have said we have a problem in about 20 counties. Okay, I'm ready to help in that, to train the community and everything, so that we can grow the Vision 2030 in leather. Thank you.
Thank you for those very good comments. And they are very pertinent, and they are part of the issues that you have raised. And you need to talk to Nora, he's here, about those vacancies.
Let me hope you apply.
Yes. Thank you. Now I think we can come to a close. We have had a very good discussion. And
you see.
I mean her.
No, she was asking about the market for hides.
Market.
That has changed. The international demand has gone up.
Yes.
Especially for sheepskin, goat skins, the market now is very high.
Okay.
Then the hides are coming up. And the moment that there is market, you will not hear anybody talking of defects or quality. The quality fixes itself. In fact, it should not even be a question of confronting or quarreling about it. When there is market, quality always fixes itself, because these standards will go and tell them, now we are buying, give us good quality, and they give you like tomorrow, because Flares knows what to do. It is only like the way he's saying, when there is no market, they don't like shh, and when there is nobody to supervise. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for that, and we really appreciate those on social media who have queries. We will respond to them. We'll share with the panelists and respond to those queries.
I'll give you the presentation.
Thank you. Karibu, Director.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Timothy, and let me take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you, more so the high table from government institutions represented, and also our participants from the MSMEs present. Wanadiji, we have had a very insightful engagement starting from 9:30 this morning all the way to almost 30 minutes past midday, which means we have already overflown the time we had envisaged. Present are the entire players within the leather and leather development ecosystem, starting with the Ministry, State Department for Livestock, represented by Dr. Nora here. We also have the Council, represented by Director Mwangi, and also Mr. John, who is the manager in charge of manufacturing. We also have Ministry of Industrialization, State Department of Industry, represented by Mr. Koski. To build on now, these were the primary people. Then at the secondary level, we have brought on board the SMEs here present, which I'll mention them. On the government side also, we have brought on board the financiers who play the tertiary role in terms of supporting the enterprises. This includes Kenya Industrial Estate, KIE, represented by Dr. Doreen here. We also had the National Treasury represented, Credit Guarantee Scheme. We had 3 officers. Mr. Ronald was here. He just stepped out a minute before. Okay. Then at policy level, we have brought on board KIPRA to help us understand the entire policy framework for leather and leather products in the country. Then in the side of our SMEs, we have these guys who are distinguished in the market. Ofula is here, Ofula Bags. We had also Patori. We also had a representative from Jimmy Small here. We also had Zana Leather. Yes, there she is. We had JLO Collections. Then we had Wazawazi. Chebet was here. She's just stepped out. Who else have I not recognized? Then we had also media present with us. University students also are part of the discussion today. During the discussion, and yes, Kenya Association of Manufacturers. During the discussion, I think we went through various aspects of the leather industry, starting from the production all the way to the value addition, and even discussing the question of up to what extent does the value addition need to be done. What has been identified is, one, there's a disconnect between the industry players, more so the government vis-a-vis the private sector players. 2, there's too much fragmentation in terms of policy coordination and regulation framework, which needs to be addressed. And I think Dr. Nora has taken note of that together with KLDC, the council. We also need to upgrade our ability to provide accurate and up-to-date data and enhance marketing of the products of the MSMEs, enhance the skills to have people who can work in the leather industry effectively. It has been noted also that, among other things, regular stakeholder engagement is also paramount, both the government players and also from the private sector. It is our humble request as VDS that we keep engaging these institutions, more so the key players within the government agencies, KIE, the ministries, and also the department represent to make sure that the gaps identified are addressed. Further, this value chain has been identified as a key under the current MTP4, and we will continue supporting the players in the industry to make Kenya products globally competitive. Karibu sana mkubwa, just to say bye to your people.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. I think let me just stand briefly. Let me start by thanking you people for coming here. We are grateful for your presence. And the reason why we did this engagement is so that we can bring government closer to our customers. And the guests of one, actually, the high table is on this side. This is the high table. We are the servants. We are the ones who work for you. Leather is one of those things that have been identified in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. If we are able to crack the question of leather, we will move this country very, very far. And this government is trying very, very innovative things. Every weekend, people are eating meat. Is that true? Every day, people are eating meat. Is that true? My own personal question has been, the meat I eat, where does the skin go? Because it vanishes. Somehow, we just look at it, and then the skin somehow vanishes. Where does it go? And where do these skins go? So I think we need to crack that issue. We need to find a way to involve the youth a lot more, especially out of the towns, in the places, in the asshole areas, in the arid areas, in semi-arid areas, where our livestock comes from. So as government, we have a responsibility to find out what is it we can do to jog the younger people to move into this industry, because there's a lot of money in livestock. It's been identified in hides and skins and leather. It's been identified by government. The other thing I want to say is that all the answers to all our problems in this country are inside our own heads. All the answers to all the problems in this country are where? They're inside our own heads, yes. There's nobody who comes from outside on an aeroplane to come to tell us how to drive properly. There's nobody who comes from an aeroplane to come and tell us how to organize ourselves well. We should not wait for somebody to come from outside to tell us how to create a nice belt which you can sell for 50,000 bob. They are there. So you see them in the social media. Yeah, they're there. So all these things are here. What is missing is that disconnect. What has been identified here as a disconnect. And I'm happy I've identified it. This session does not end today. There are a lot of Kenyans out there who are talking about leather, who are in the industry, who are very far away from Nairobi, who are not able to come today, which is why we also do this system. So if you're online, wherever you're in the world, and you have an interest in the leather industry in Kenya, or any other topic we're dealing with here, you're able to talk to us. So this is Rwaza Center is open for you. Players in the industry, you're the guests of honor here. Please come back next week. Think about what has happened here today and say, I have an answer. I think I have a solution. You had a solution one, yeah? It has been taken up. I want to hear somebody else say, I've cracked the problem of X or Y or Z. You come here, we'll give you a platform, and then you educate all of us Kenyans who are waiting for that brilliant idea which is sitting inside your head. And for government, let us please do this more often. Let us talk more often. Let us open our offices more often. Let the Kenyans know what we do, because all the answers, like I keep saying, are there. But the people don't know where the answers are. And I like to go back to the Bible, Hosea 4:2. My people perished because of lack of? My people perish because of lack of knowledge. And where is the knowledge? It's here. We have it. So our challenge through Rwaza Center is to bring out these ideas. They're inside your heads. And there is no silly idea. There's nothing like a silly idea. There is nothing like a stupid idea. There's nothing like that. Yeah? 500 years ago, if you said the world was round, did you know what happened to you? The church itself burnt you at the stake. Okay? Because the world was flat. It was flat 500 years ago. If you tried to say it was round or spherical, you got killed. So ideas are the lifeblood of progress and development. So ideas must always be given a chance to thrive. So mine and for Vision 2030 is to welcome ideas. If you have an idea which can transform this country in any sector, please come and bring it. We have space for you. Na kwa hayo machache, next time we'll finish at 12 sharp or 12:10. It is now 12:22. This meeting is now officially closed.